Okay, so here we're going to talk about combinations, and this is page 87 of your note spiral. Now, this is something I skipped in class, and the reason I skipped it is we were short on time, and quite frankly, College Board doesn't test on it. Having said this, is really important for understanding probability, and even though we're not going to test on it, it might provide you some information. And when we talk about the binomial, which will be the next video, when we talk about the binomial, the first part of the binomial is in fact a combination. All right. So first off, we're gonna have to learn a couple things. A factorial is the product of integers and all the integers below it. So if I write 5 factorial, which is written as 5 exclamation points, so this would be 5 exclamation point, equals 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 8 factorial, 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now on your calculator, and by the way, once again, this is an informational video. This is not something you're going to be required to do. If I wanted to do 5 factorial, I'll push 5. Then I have to think about this because this is a little, they have some kind of a complex spot. I press math, and then I arrow over to PRB for probability. And I look at number 4, and it has a little factorial button. 5 factorial, and it's 120. So 5 times 4, so 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 120. Okay, so it does it for you, but once again, not something we generally check. So combination is a subset or selection of a group in which order does not matter. It's often expressed as n choose k, or n combination k, or n choose x. And when we do a binomial, we're going to see this in the front. And this is the way we express it in a binomial. So what it really means, what n choose k, or what that combination means, is n factorial, the number of tries, divided by the number of successes minus the differential. And then we have the little factorials in the places where we need them. So n is the size of the entire group, and k is the size of the group that we are selecting. So how many subsets of 3 can be chosen from a group of 5? So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 120. 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. So this is at 3 factorial. And then 2 times 1 is 2. So 120 divided by 12 is 10. Now I can do this on the calculator as well. And this is what it's going to look like. Now, once again, I need to be fairly organized in order to do it because this particular version of the HP of the TI-84 is not as friendly as some of the other versions. So here we go. 5 choose 3. So 5, then math, and then I look for arrow over to the word PRB for probability. I look, there's n choose, there it is, it's number 3, n choose R. So press the enter, and then 3. 5 choose 3, there it is. And it does 10. And what it did for us is it did all of this math for us, okay? So consider the following. You have 4 people, Aaron, Bob, Karina, and Danielle, that we call A, B, C, and D. A for Aaron, B for Bob, C for Karina, and D for Daniela, that we're going to make groups with. So if I wanted to, how many types of group could I get for choose 4? In other words, there's 4 people, and I'm going to choose all 4 of them. And obviously, order doesn't matter because if I choose Bob first, then Karina, then Danielle, then Aaron, that's the same group of people, regardless what order I choose them. So order doesn't matter because it doesn't, because regardless, I have them in that, I have the same group of people. So in this case, it'd be 4 factorial over 4 factorial over 4 minus 4 factorial. That would be if I was showing all my work, which you're not going to be required to do because we're not going to do this type of work. This is for information. So 4 factorial over 4 factorial and 0 factorial. By the way, 0 factorial is like, it is 1, all right? So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and then the 0 factorial is 1. Well, essentially, this crosses out, and we end up with getting 1, or if I'd multiplied all it out, 24 divided by 24 is 1. And that makes sense. It's like, if I have 4 people, there's only one way I can select all 4 people. I mean, I'm going to have that same group. The order might change, but the group is going to be the same. So 4 choose 3. Okay, now I just want 3 of them. Well, in that case, a 4 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 minus 3 is 1. And I end up getting, after I do all the math, 24 divided by 6 is 4. And on the calculator, because I'd only done one of those, let's go back to it. So I'm going to push the number 4, because that's my first number, math, probability, NCR, and then I press the number 3 for the bottom number. And there's 4 different ways. If I were to do 4 choose 2, I only want to choose 2 people out of the 4. Then press the 4 first, math, probability, choose 2, oops, 4, math, probability, there's my, and then I press 2. And we end up with 6 different ways of choosing 2. And then if I want to choose 1, it ends up being 4. And think about it. I can either choose A, I can choose B, I can choose C, or I can choose D. So there's only 4 ways. These right here represented the combinations that I could have gotten. Aaron, Bob, Karina, Daniela, Daniela, Aaron, Darren, Daniela, Aaron, Bob. So right here we have all the possible combinations, and you won't be able to think of a different combination. You might be able to swap the order, but order doesn't matter because it's a combination. All right, so continuing on with this on combinations. Again, this will be page 88 of your note spiral. And once again, not required. This is an informational video, and I think will just help you out with your understanding of the binomial, which we're about to do. Once again, this is the beginning part of the binomial. So you're making a cheese sandwich. How many different combination of 2 ingredients can you make with cheese, mayo, and ham? That's kind of a discussing thought, but basically we're working with 3, choose 2. And I can basically choose cheese and mayo, cheese and ham, or mayo and ham. All right? So if I were to do a 3, choose 2, that's going to be 3 factorial over my x, which is 2 factorial, and then 3 minus 2, and this will be the factorial. So this is going to be 3 times 2 times 1 over 2 times 1, and this is just 1 factorial. With the calculator, we can go, once again, first number, 3, math, probability, and a 2. And we end up getting 3. So we have 3 possibilities. 3 choose 3. I mean, basically, I'm going to get mayo, cheese, and ham. It doesn't really matter the order. So this is just going to be 1. I only have 1 possibility. So this is going to be 3 factorial. This is going to be 3 factorial. And 3 minus 3 factorial. All right. And by the way, I'm just going to do the 0 factorial because I know not everyone's going to believe me. So here we go. 0, math, probability, factorial. Oh, 0 factorial is in fact 1. In this case, we're going to do 3, choose 3. So I press the top number, 3, math, probability, and then a 3. And then I end up getting 1 for this as well. All right. So an election ballot asks voters to select 3 commissioners from a group of 6. And how many ways can this be done? Well, this means we're doing a 6, choose 3. So this is going to be 6 factorial over 3 factorial over 6 minus 3 factorial. Now this ends up being a bunch of math work, but using the calculator, 6 math probability, and we end up finding, oh, we're going to come up with 20 different combinations. So with just 6 people and wanting to choose 3 of them, we end up with 20 combinations. A 4-person committee is to be selected from an organization membership of 11 people. How many different committees are possible? So we have 11. We want to choose 4. So this is going to be 11 factorial over 4 factorial over 11 minus 4 factorial. So 11 math probability 330. You're on your way to Hawaii, and 15 possible books. Your parents say you can take only 10 because you're apparently a reader and you're not going to the beach. I'm sure I completely don't understand that, but here we go. 15 choose 10 equals 15 factorial, 10 factorial, 15 minus 10 factorial. So 15, math, probability, 10, 3003. There are 12 standbys who hope to get on your flight to Hawaii, but only 6 seats available. How many different ways can the 6 people be chosen? Well, 12, choose 6. So this is going to be 12 factorial, 6 factorial, 12 minus 6 factorial. $924. And by the way, I should have said this at the beginning of this. They said, tell me this type of problem often shows up on the SAT, so this may be of help to you. To win the small county lottery, one must correctly select 3 numbers from 30 numbers. The order of which selection is made does not matter. How many different selections are possible? And typically that's the case. When we watch the lottery, they don't care what order you select them. It's just that you did select those numbers. So we have 30 numbers. We're choosing 3. So 30 factorial, 3 factorial, and then 30 minus 3 factorial. And by the way, all this stuff gets easier. It really does. The more times you do it. So basically, I haven't done this in a while, so I was a little bit stale punching the buttons. But by the time that I had done it multiple times, it's like, oh, this is easy. So 30 math probability, arrow down to 3, press enter, 3, boom, 4060. All right, and that's combinations. You might want to practice this for SAT purposes and know that this is the beginning part of the binomial.